All right, we're live on YouTube. Here, I'm gonna play this one, and then I'm gonna circle back, spin the block. The Attack on Titan video is 2 hours for part 1. It's deep work. It is. It was good being in the background though. But like, I liked what it did personally. But I'll be right back. Stay. What's up, Sierra? Hey. What's up, Nix? Hey. Hey. Sorry, go back to sleep. Oh, I didn't play the video. I meant to play the video to leave you with something to watch. Ow, my eye. Alright, let's get back to this. Because I do want to see. I do want to see what like normie black people are saying about slightly Charlie Kirk, but also about Dean. But if I gifted you watching the baby video, I will not be doing that. Speaking of which, I had a tweet about this as well. Means he is normie? Yeah. I would say so. Which we can get to as well. But let's start with this.
Dead. He got shot at an event that he was hosting in Utah. And I am sad, distraught. In fact, I just cried on my live stream in front of 250,000 people.
I think the days of setting those mics up and arguing with young adults on a college campus where nobody wants you, I think those days are over. I don't think it was ever a good idea to do that, but especially now, I think those days are over.
Oh, cheering because he just got offed? You do know what this means, right? And this is my third video about it because I literally cannot believe y'all. You mother happy that that man got shot. He's a social media creator at the end of the day, nothing else.
Listen, don't be like these y'all and be celebrating nobody getting like.
Is this DDG? I know DDG ain't talking. I know DDG ain't talking. I know DDG ain't fixing his mouth to say nothing about nothing. Don't piss me off. Don't piss me off. Citizens Media is grateful for all of you, Johnny Rock, and thank you for everything you do. It's rude when I'm listening and watching you while I'm working. Someone has the audacity to come in wanting a haircut. That's crazy. W Barber though. Off-brand John, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Much appreciated. Did you just stay silent on all subjects? I agree.
Shot on camera. That man got kids. I don't give a what he said. That got kids, bro. That's a father.
I'm gonna keep it a stack, bro. I need to be honestly educated.
And we saw what Silky said. We saw what Silky said already.
before I speak on anything, I did hear that he got assassinated, though. Rest in peace to anybody that gets assassinated. All lives are precious.
I looked at some of the comments from the video, and they're not worried about, like, my safety, or they're not worried about anyone's safety there. They're, like, trying to justify it. And I just want people to know that Charlie's family, his daughter, is gonna live without a dad.
Imagine being a 12-year-old, you know, watching your dad die. Nobody deserves
Yeah,
that.
Dean, imagine. You know? Imagine being 12 years old and, I don't know, getting, like, shot by the police for playing in your yard with a toy gun. Imagine that. Imagine being a 17-year-old, right, walking in your neighborhood with a hoodie on and a bag of Skittles, Arizona iced tea, and gunned down by a racist neighborhood watchman. That guy getting off and then going on a press tour signing bags of Skittles, you know? And now imagine, right, that you are a man selling CDs and the cops choke you down until you're dead. Now imagine you are a man also with a daughter, right, held down on the pavement with a knee on your neck and you're killed by the police. And imagine all of that, right? And there's a white supremacist who cheers on those deaths, who laughs at those deaths, who says that those deaths are not a problem, all because they look a certain way. And you expect me, who look like all of those people who are killed, right, to have a reaction towards the person who believes that their deaths are acceptable and normal, and you have the audacity to chastise me for not feeling some type of way about that person? And we can keep going, right? As Shad's saying, imagine you're a black woman asleep in your bed and cops open fire, right? Striking you and killing you while you're in your bed. And then they arrest your boyfriend who was defending his home with his Second Amendment. Right? Imagine you're going through a mental health crisis and you have nothing but a pot of water and the cops gun you down. Imagine if you're sitting in your car abiding by police orders and cops lay into you, right? Magged up into you, killing you with your child in the back seat. Like, this goes on and on and on and on. And Charlie Kirk justified every single one of their deaths. Charlie Kirk glorified every single one of their deaths. Charlie Kirk laughed at their deaths. And you expect me to shed tears for that person? And this is why Dean doesn't get it. This is why it doesn't make sense to Dean. Right? Because I think it's different for Dean and Parker than it is for like Silky and DDG. Right? Because they're supposed to be better. They're supposed to know better. They are political commentators. They are supposed to know better, but they don't. They're not 12 years old, right? Having to be sat down by their parents and told why they can't go out late at night in the way that their white friends can go out late at night, right? They're not sat down by their parents when they're 10 years old. And they're told that they have to talk a certain way, walk a certain way, act a certain way, dress a certain way, just so that they are not prejudiced against. they will never understand. They will never understand. This is actually, and this is the reason why I want to talk about today, is not because I saw this video, but because Hasan was saying exactly this yesterday, and I want to play it again, because hopefully now that Hasan is saying it, right, like people will be more receptive to hearing it. But Hasan was saying this literally yesterday. It's nothing different than what I've been saying. Nothing different than what I've been talking about. Is that if you're not of that experience, you don't understand. And that Black and Brown, and we had different talks. I was heartbroken when I learned the talks Black families have with their kids. Yeah, but you also have a similar experience, right? This is why we say, like, Black and Brown. Right? Because brown people also have this experience as well. It is a bit different. Like, queer people have a different experience as well. It's not the same, right? But it's something that if you're a cishet white dude who comes from a privileged upbringing, you don't ever have to worry about. At the very least, queer people can understand where I'm coming from when I have this discussion, right? And Black people can understand where queer people are coming from when they have that discussion. Even if we don't immediately see eye to eye or have the same experience, we can relate that to our own personal experiences, right? And that's just something that just people like Dean do not have, right? So people like Dean, it is seen as absolutely like, based in fiction, essentially, right? It's seen as like not based in reality when people are cheering on Charlie Kirk's death because he does not understand it. So I'm watching a preacher yesterday who was saying that political violence happens every day for Black people and America was built on it because of slavery. It's true. It is true. It is true, which is why I stand so firmly against, because like these people aren't even leftists. Chat, like Omizi being like, stop controlling how people react to controversial deaths. Like Omizi's not a leftist, right? This kid on college campus is probably not a leftist. I've seen people who are not leftists, who are like apolitical, maybe like slightly right-wing Black people who all have the same understanding. Right? And that is Charlie Kirk was directly harmful. Right? He dehumanized us. And when that is your experience day in and day out, right? You're not going to cry when that person is no longer there. You're just not. You're not. And it's important to note, right? Like, should he have died in the way that he died? I don't think so. But you have to understand, it wasn't Black people who killed him. You know what I mean? We didn't do this. We had to sit there and eat it for the 17 years that he was been active as a conservative commentator. And a Black person didn't end his life. A Black person didn't pick up a gun and shoot him. So it feels weird for like, it's expected for like conservatives to be like, guys, you have to mourn Charlie Kirk's death.
Don't be surprised.
But the fact that liberals are doing it as well, it just kind of shows that like, liberals are just not allies to the Black community.
at that white boy crying over that Nazi being removed from this earthly plane. That's the problem with liberals, especially white liberals, especially white male liberals. All this shit, the little fun, entertaining debates that y'all do, this is theoretical for you. The kind of violence and hatred that Charlie Kirk and his ilk spew, it's never going to hit you. It is an abstraction to you. It is theoretical. For me and other women and disabled people and trans people and queer people and black and brown folks and migrants, this ain't theoretical. This is real life. Oh, but all he did was say words. Words incite action. Y'all have a very narrow understanding of what violence is. You think violence is just coming up to somebody and slapping them. You think violence is when somebody puts lead through you. That's not the only form of violence that there is. But it's the only form of violence that y'all seem to acknowledge, and you only acknowledge it when it's happening to another white cis male. When it's happening to black women, or black men, or Palestinian children, or Palestinian men and women, that's theoretical. That's something that y'all use for entertainment, to debate about, like we're debating on somebody's humanity, like that's up for debate. When violence happens to trans people, or disabled people, or anybody who is not of that upper echelon that we've deemed as who counts as human in this country, whose rights aren't actually theoretical, that's when y'all get on live and cry. That's when you take it seriously. Because the violence is never supposed to be aimed at you. When marginalized people get taken out, that's just politics. But when a privileged white boy who occupies the upper echelons of society gets taken out, that's a tragedy. Because that kind of violence is never supposed to reach that person's front door. It's the same reason some of y'all got on here crying about a CEO getting taken off this earthly plane. Because they're not supposed to receive the violence, they're supposed to dole it out. They own the monopoly on violence. Oh, but that harmful rhetoric that comes out of the mouths of people like Charlie Kirk, or out of the policies like that healthcare CEO, that's not violence. That's just business. That's just politics. If that's what you believe, you don't know what violence is. And I pray you never have to find out. Unfortunately, some people are gonna find out. And I worry for this country. It's getting to that point.
Or this isn't a popular take, but I don't realize what people are treating Kirk much different than Brian Thompson. As a person, Kirk is worse. In impact, I think it's up in the air. But like as a person, Charlie Kirk is worse. Right? Brian Thompson was a like participant, but a what's the word? Kind of a passive participant in the system. Right? Charlie Kirk is a propagandist. Charlie Kirk made it his mission to spread violent rhetoric. That Brian was a rhetoric and rest in piss. Did I say anything differently than that? I'm not making a description about like Brian being a good person or not a good person. And the problem is that y'all don't listen. Right? Charlie Kirk is a propagandist. Charlie Kirk's mission, his role, right? Instead of being the person who stamps the death papers, right? He's the person who drafts them. That's the difference. Right? Brian Thompson occupied a role that pushed papers in front of his seat, where he's just like stamp, move on, death, move on, death, move on. Charlie Kirk is the person who is saying, we need to kill this person. Here, Brian Thompson, stamp this. Right? We need to kill this person. Here, Brian Thompson, stamp this. He's a part of the person who's guiding who gets the violence. Right? Brian Thompson doesn't care if it's a poor white person or a poor black person who gets the violence. He just wants poor people to get the violence. Right? It's Charlie Kirk who makes sure that the type of poor people who gets the violence are the black and brown people. Right? That's his role. His role is to make sure that the people who stay at the bottom are the people who are the most marginalized. That's it. That is what his goal is. And that's why it's different. Luigi has stands and people outside of his court dates. I don't see Tyler having that. Is because that Luigi is hot. There's a closeness that Charlie Kirk has to like the normal populace that like Brian didn't have. People didn't know who Brian Thompson was until he was murdered, right? And so they see Brian Thompson as a proxy for the healthcare industry, right? Charlie Kirk, because he's a social media influencer, because he's a YouTuber, right? People are more ready to project themselves onto Charlie Kirk because of their closeness to him. He's not a faceless person who is just like a faceless propagandist. He is a YouTuber who's also a propagandist. Right? And also because Luigi Mangione is hot. There's also a part of it. Here, let's continue.
Not even Charlie Kirk.
At the recording of this video, it's going to be a little over 24 hours since Charlie Kirk got assassinated on that Utah campus. And to be honest with you, as I consume more and more of the landscape of what's going on in the nation, on social media, and really worldwide, I can only think to myself that this is something that is extremely unprecedented. I'm seeing awards after death. I'm seeing calls for flags to be flown at half-mast for a civilian. And I'm even seeing Steak and Shake talk about how beloved he was as a man, which Steak and Shake, your burgers were mid at best. I'm seeing sports organizations like the Yankees and the Packers give some sort of moment of silence or remembrance for Charlie Kirk. And I'm sorry, there's a lot of stuff that I just don't understand about this conversation, and maybe somebody through this video can help me understand it all. Something that was pointed out to me in a TikTok that I was consuming while I was researching this video is that people aren't even saying that Charlie Kirk was a controversial figure or divisive or said things that a lot of people didn't agree with, something along those lines. And based off of all the clips that I've seen of him, he said some pretty out-of-pocket things.
Truly, in your heart of hearts, truly believe that this is a human being. This,
without a doubt.
Without a doubt?
Yes.
This is a dolphin fetus.
Though, is this woke stuff that would like take your breath away?
That is a funny clip because like it shows that Charlie Kirk is just stupid.
I mean, research into transgender mice. I mean, it was just the U.S. taxpayer dollars were funding that.
See, I called that out on my show. That was. It wasn't transgender. See, that worries me about you, Charlie. You seem to have swallowed that one whole, like a snake does a mouse, without looking into it. It was transgenic mice.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, everybody, a lot of people are going to be saying Happy Juneteenth. It should not be a federal holiday, and I'm on my way to work. Have a good day.
I'm sorry. If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
When blacks in America did not have the same rights they had today, they were less murderous, there was less break-ins. Why is that? And the data shows they were actually better in the 1940s. It was bad, it was evil.
Because of DEI, it begs the question when you see a black pilot, you wonder, you say, I hope they are qualified. If I'm dealing with somebody in customer service...
If it makes you feel better, I'm sure in that split second when he saw the glint of the scope out of the corner of his eye and he saw light reflecting off the skin of the shooter, it made him feel at ease. Because he knew that the shooter was indeed qualified. And Charlie would have wanted that, if you really think about it. Charlie would have wanted that. He didn't have to wonder. He didn't have to wonder.
Who's a moronic black woman. I wonder, is she there because of her excellence, or is she there because of affirmative action? Almost creates thought patterns that are not necessarily... No one really cares when it's HR managers. No one cared when it was, just kind of paper shufflers or even engineers. But now when it's like, wait, hold on a second.
You have to deal with the indignity of DEI assassination. Exactly.
Remove my appendix and you're a black lesbian.
And I think that is strange because objectively speaking, based off of...
Do you think when he went to the hospital, he saw his doctor was black and he was just like, I'm good?
that we know, that is controversial at worst. Now, it could definitely be defined and called other things for sure, and it should, but you could at least extend that. So it ultimately makes me think that there's some sort of agenda that's being pushed behind
Didn't
closed
he
doors.
in the hospital? Well, that would make more sense if you only saw black, right? When they were like, "Sir, would you like any care?" He was like, "All I see is black, so no, thank you." You know, maybe.
Now, granted, this is not a political platform, and I don't want to take you down that rabbit hole. This is just an observation to open up a conversation. With all the divisive things that Charlie Kirk said in his speeches throughout his lifetime, it's amazing to me how so many people are trying to dictate how people who are living these things, consuming these things, and have honestly been some of the victims of some of the hate speech that he has put out, are telling people how they should feel.
Instead, you celebrating, that's not an issue to talk about. You're part of the problem. You are part of the issue. It's fucking horrible, bro. It is absolutely horrible, the video. I pray for people that genuinely sit there and celebrate and think this is like something to like actually like get happy over. I pray that whenever you have children, the people that are celebrating, that your children aren't involved in school shootings and aren't involved around mass shootings and horrible events, because it's very possible. It's very possible. It's very possible if we don't address what's going on.
Becky, anything for the 17 months?
Mad. I don't think you need to be sad. I don't think you got, oh my God, no, I can't believe he's gone. You ain't even gotta do that. Celebrating that?
I don't know who this is, Chad. All black people look the same. Let me stop. I'm sorry. Let me stop. Nick Snow, where you going? I didn't mean it, Nick. Okay, she laid down. She didn't like the joke. Nick's is anti-racist. That's fair. You know who ain't moved, though? Sierra ain't move a muscle. She ain't move a muscle.
Man, that's foul.
Black people, why are y'all celebrating? Like y'all better than that. Y'all really on the internet and happy.
What does he mean, y'all? Broski, look in the mirror. You mean we. You mean us. What are you talking about, y'all?
That this man got shot unalive in front of everybody, all because y'all don't like his opinion.
Now, I think that these takes
we ain't do nothing to him
for so many reasons. First and foremost, the downplaying of what Charlie Kirk has said in the past couple of hours has been the most amazing thing that I've seen in the world. And not amazing as in good, but I'm just amazed at the fact that I'm looking at these things, hearing these words, and all of it has been deduced to being a social media guy, which I think is very telling about how he lived his life specifically, but ultimately how his words, who simultaneously, as told by some of these people, galvanized all these people, saved so many people's lives, changed so many people's minds, can also get deduced to, hey, he was just a social media guy. It just does not track and it does not make sense to me. Second of all, there's this thing that I hate when people pass away, is that people tell others how they should feel about a certain person. It's one of the things that annoys me the most. You can go from—
This actually happens when like somebody's rapist dies. They're like, chain broken, my rapist was killed. And then people are like, you know, I don't know you nor your rapist, but that was a person. That was a person who had a family. And you're just like, how would you know that? You're a random Twitter poster. You are completely separate from the situation. You're just imagining that this person was like a good person outside of being a rapist. Was your input necessary here? I'm confused.
example to a simple example. Simple example being somebody who, I don't know, cuts
That's why we
you
got
in
Trump
line.
too.
I think it would be bad for me to tell that person who got cut in line that they should look at this person as a god-like figure, a savior, somebody who should be decorated and awarded when they absolutely wronged you. And the same thing can be said for those that commit atrocities and crimes to people. Hey, if this person committed a crime against you, who am I to say once they die that you should look at them as something greater than? So in the conversation with Charlie Kirk, there were a lot of people that were harmed by his words. And not just because it hurt their feelings, but because there was action behind all these things. So I don't think it's justified to say that this is how you should feel, because ultimately this man said some insane stuff that actually harmed people. Maybe I'm desensitized to a lot of this stuff, and I guess I didn't realize how much people really felt and loved Charlie Kirk.
Why he deserves to die? You fucking animals!
This is such bullshit. I've never been so pissed in my whole life. They just murdered Charlie Kirk right here in Utah. I'm so freaking pissed right now. This is bullshit.
I still can't believe this is a real video. I can't. I'm still in the camp of this is a fake video that is satire. I can't. I cannot believe that it's a real video. I cannot believe that it's a real video. I can't. I'm sorry. I think the first one may be real, but this one being like, I'm so freaking pissed right now. They murdered Charlie Kirk right here in Utah. Okay, does anybody have the full video? Please, I need to see it again. I need to see it again. Come on. Okay, I found it.
This is such bullshit. I've never been so pissed in my whole life. They just murdered Charlie Kirk right here in Utah. I'm so freaking pissed right now. This is bullshit. I just saw blood squirting out of his neck. I love that guy. He would have been our next president. I am so pissed right now.
I'm sorry, you expect me to take it seriously when he's holding the phone to keep the flag at half staff in the background? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I can't.
I love that guy. He would have been our next president. I am so pissed right now. Why do they always come with fucking violence? Gosh, damn it. Use your freaking words as they're talking to you people. Who shot Charlie Kirk? I'm driving in a Bravo right now. I'm so pissed. Damn it. This is such bullshit. I've never been so pissed in my whole life. They just murdered Charlie Kirk right here in Utah. I'm so freaking pissed right now. This is bullshit. I just saw blood squirting out of his neck. I love that guy. He would have been our next president. I am so pissed right now.
Okay, hold on. A part of me wants to make a part of this video into a new sub alert. Cause like it's so funny. I just don't know what part I want to make it.
No! Why do they always come with fucking violence? Gosh, damn it! Use your freaking words as they're talking to you people. Who shot Charlie Kirk? I'm driving in a Bravo right now. I'm so pissed. Damn it!
Oh, this reminds me of that one TikTok video that's like, this guy screaming, he's like, my family's dead. What do I do? You know what I mean? You know what video I'm talking about? Hold on. Oh yeah, you burned my house to the ground. Okay, this one.
You burned my house to the ground. My family's dead. What do I do? I'm gonna find you, fucker. I'm gonna burn my house to the ground. My family's dead. What do I do? I'm gonna find you, fucker. You burned my house to the ground. My family's dead. What do I do?
saw a video where they put that audio over him. Stop. Somebody had the same idea that I did. It's so funny. It's so funny.
I love that guy. He would have been president. Why do they always come with fucking violence?
And you would think that these people who have so much love for Charlie Kirk would have so much hate as well for the people that got injured in a school shooting not too far from the incident. But it just didn't happen. But what really baffled me is how so many people, the streamers of the world, were willing to jump off the ledge, downplay Charlie Kirk and his words, and say that he was just a guy on social media, condemning anybody who was giving any sort of criticisms or pushback, all while being ignorant about the situation. Streamer Lacey put out a tweet hopping into the political sphere where he had given his words of encouragement or, you know, encouragement for the situation that happened. And after getting...
I do think it is slightly funny when non-politics streamers, or non-like overt politics streamers, do delve into politics and then get a bunch of hate for it. You're so cute. Thank you. Lacey mentioned day ruined. It was a relevant FaZe streamer. Hey, Lacey must be happy with the FaZe temper stuff coming out. He's not the worst member of FaZe anymore. That is why he just like the Lego Movie guy. Mod's being that guy.
A bunch of backlash, he had to hop back on the internet in a live manner to kind of soothe over his fan base who was anti the things that he said. And rightfully so, to be honest with you, because what Lacey said came from a place of total ignorance.
Before yesterday, I didn't even know who Charlie Kirk was. But the point in the message behind my tweet was not that anything or his messages were okay. Because I'm gonna be honest, I looked into what he said. He was a complete fucking idiot. I'm just being honest. I don't agree with what he says or what his message was at all.
Silky thoughts on Charlie.
Also, I'm gonna be real. I don't believe him. Not that he didn't know who Charlie Kirk was. I do believe him. So, Lacey does not strike me as somebody who like reads. But like that he disagrees with like, or I'm curious about what he disagrees with Charlie Kirk on. Right? Because a lot of times people would be like, oh, I don't agree with everything he said. But they never say what stuff that they do agree with him and disagree with him about. You know?
Kirk, I don't know anything about what happened. I don't know his political...
I do think it's weird that people are so quick to be like, well, nobody should die, or no one should be killed. Nobody should die, right? When it comes to this situation, but how quick they are to be like with the Silky clip is a perfect example. He's like, listen, I didn't know who Charlie Kirk was, but like, rest in peace. Nobody deserves to be killed or assassinated. Nobody deserves that. Unless you're a pedophile. All pedophiles should die. I'm just like, so you don't believe that nobody deserves to be killed or assassinated. So like, maybe it would behoove you to, instead of speaking on somebody that you don't know anything about, not saying anything. It feels like a lot of these streamers only said something because they felt like they needed to, or they would make somebody mad for not being like, I'm sorry, Charlie Kirk is dead, or whatever. You know what I mean? I saw some dudes on YouTube talking about that on YouTube. You said YouTube twice. What dudes?
Point. I don't know his views. I don't know who he was. I'm gonna keep it a stack, bro. I need to be honestly educated before I speak on anything. I did hear that he got assassinated, though.
Those are a part of the biggest problems to me. You don't even know who you're supporting, and it probably lets us know that you have somebody bigger or greater telling you what to say, or even worse, which Lacey kind of admitted in a situation that he did earlier, that you're just stepping in because it's the cool thing to do.
I've made my mistake in the past where I have said something that I shouldn't have, where I thought I knew what I was talking about when it came to politics and I had no idea, and I regret that, and I'll never do it again because I was just trying to be involved when I didn't even know what I was talking about.
If you were really trying to be involved, you would probably do some research and due diligence behind that.
Literally just Google him. Like, oh, this guy was a bad guy. Maybe they don't need my condemnation right now. You know what I mean? If somebody asked you, you should be like, I don't know much about him. Sorry, haven't done my research yet. Sorry, right? But like, if you look into him, you're like, oh, this guy was a bad person. I probably should just not say anything eulogizing him, actually. Because that's also an option. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to like read your chat and be like, Ludwig, what is your thoughts on Charlie Kirk? Listen, I don't agree with everything Charlie Kirk said, but like, nobody deserves to die. Like, what are you doing in that situation? Except for signaling to the black people in your audience that, you know, you don't care about the harm that is caused by Charlie Kirk's rhetoric, but you do care about the death of this white supremacist. You know? That's what you're saying. That's how it comes across. If you're an apolitical person who said nothing about the harm that was caused to black people, right, for decades, but Charlie Kirk dies, you're immediately like, rest in peace. Nobody deserves that. It's going to come across as you not caring about like black people. Sorry.
I have thoughts and opinions about streamers stepping into politics, and this specific situation right here is the reason why they should not do that, and it's a perfect time to have this conversation, but I'm gonna put it over on my Patreon because I don't know if this side of the internet is ready for that type of conversation. But to me, it's so strange how these people can condemn the people that have negative things to say about this while defending somebody that they do.
I'm sure Ludwig does have black fans. You know, there are black people who watch Ludwig, right? But I do think that all too often do streamers like want access to a black audience, but without making their space safe for black people to occupy. You know what I mean? Like, they want to do nothing. They want to do nothing to craft the space that like black people feel comfortable being in, but also still want access to that black audience by like going to people and collabing with people who have that audience in the first place. You know what I mean?
Do not know. It'd be different if they stopped at the point of, hey, this person got assassinated online. That's crazy. A man just died. Or if they gave more of the Kai Cenat approach. I think Kai Cenat kind of just acknowledged the words, said Charlie Kirk got assassinated, and then he shut the hell up.
That's the guy.
Exactly. Like, I don't agree with everything Kai does, but like Kai had a good reaction to this. He's just like, oh yeah, this guy died. Isn't that guy who said some crazy stuff? Man, that's crazy. Anyway, chat, what do you want for dinner? You know what I mean? Like, you don't need more than that. You don't need more than that.
The crazy ass takes, right? Or some shit. He be saying some crazy. He be saying some crazy shit, right? Holy shit! What the fuck? Don't watch, okay, bet.
Kai, get the fly out your room. But honestly, that's how these people should be approaching these situations. If you don't know who he is, don't know what he said, don't know what he stood for, then why would you go out of your way to do all this condemning and hemming and hawing behind him? I just hate the way that a lot of people act during times of death. I even saw a video of Myron and Sneeko having a conversation where they were being so full of themselves, and the fact that Sneeko was telling Myron that he should be very careful going forward with these college conversations, which I do agree, to be quite honest with you. You guys say divisive things.
Kind of the first human to rock about it. I'm hearing that's crazy. Ma's been that guy too.
The country is fed up with the stuff that you were saying. But what Sneeko had to say about the situation, and if they continue to go forward with these college debates, was nothing short of laughable to me.
And so I really want you to be careful, because you do a similar show to the one Charlie Kirk did. You know, it's probably based on...
Myron is not pulling Charlie Kirk numbers. Let's be entirely real. A
little bit around that. The same people that want Charlie Kirk dead, that are celebrating his death, would celebrate if we died. So
yeah,
this is something
it's
that needs
actually
to be
very disturbing.
addressed. It is. It's just like, look how
What,
many people...
black people? Like, I'm sorry if you have black people who are like, yeah, they're gonna celebrate our death as black people. Like, you gotta think about that a little bit harder. You know, think about what you're doing, whether or not like it actually is what you think it is. You feel me? Anyway, I have to run to the bathroom real quick. Try to figure out why people would celebrate. Yeah. Here, BRB.
People we live amongst that would celebrate and want us dead for having a difference in political opinion.
Sneeko, I don't think you guys are on the same level of Charlie Kirk. And that probably is a good thing, for better or for worse. But that's such an insane statement right there. Now, Myron did say that he would go on to do more of these situations like this, these college interviews.
Obviously, Asheville, we probably won't be able to do it, but we're going to reschedule it. We're not giving up. And like I told y'all before, we're going to keep the legacy alive. From this point forward, every time we do a debate table at a college campus or on the streets of Miami, we're going to make sure that we give Charlie a shout out. I think that's the least we can do.
And whether I think that that's right or wrong really doesn't matter. Myron's going to do what he wants to do for the cause that he wanted to. But this should just be known that people are out there actively trying to harm people like you, Myron. And I promise you, you won't get the same reception as a Charlie Kirk for your words and the things that you said on the internet. We've already established that based off of you going into these white supremacist spaces earlier this year, and they kind of shunned you because you weren't one of them. Ultimately, I was just very much surprised at the Charlie Kirk conversation and ultimately the hypocrisy. The way that people are acting in this situation is something that I was honestly not prepared for. I didn't recognize how many people loved him, to what extent. I definitely didn't expect the nation as large to be either rejoicing or kind of championing him like this. And it kind of begs the question, where are we in 2025 where somebody can rise to these levels from YouTube? This is a powerful tool. And I wish I could get into more of the hypocrisy as to how people were praising this person and their death and celebrating it, saying they should have died. But now in this situation, they're condemning people for doing these things. This is something that's not YouTube friendly, so definitely drop by the Patreon. But as of right now, all I can do is sit back as everybody waits for the person who ended his life for the next news cycle to go around. All I can do is sit back and say, wow, I am genuinely shocked.
If I had the ability to beam a thought into a man's head right now, I would go directly to Randy Pitchford's noggin and try desperately to urge him to stop. This is a message directly to Randy. If you are not Randy Pitchford, disregard the following sentence. Put down your phone, I say as I shake him by the shoulders. Oh my god. I have clowned on this goofball for years. Randy Pitchford, I think, is one of the game industry clowns that is always able to somehow make himself look like a fool and damage the company he represents. And this has got to be the best example of it. Borderlands 4 came out, and it is genuinely better than Borderlands 3. Most people are happy with it. I am actually pleasantly surprised by it. I'm not the biggest Borderlands fan, but this one is definitely an upgrade. But it does have a problem. Performance. There are tons of reports from numerous players citing that their performance has been lackluster with a lot of problems. It is a widespread issue that's been reported many, many times. Personally, I haven't yet. I've crashed once, but that's just kind of to be expected with modern games at this point. I just kind of write it off. But I'm lucky in that regard. Not everybody is having as smooth of an experience. And instead of just doing like the very normal, very standard thing of just saying, hey, we see your complaints about performance, we're sorry, we're working on it, Randy instead goes on a fucking scorched earth tirade on Twitter looking like a damn imbecile. Like, he cannot help himself. He is snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. Everyone has been celebrating Borderlands 4 finally being good, and Randy Pitchford says, wait a minute, I can turn this into a bad thing, check this shit out. So I want to go over some tweets here because this shit is unhinged. It is, he had a layup. And when he went for the layup, he broke all of his fucking bones like Tom Segura. So already comes out the gates bearing the horns here. He's very combative off rip. Every PC gamer must accept the reality of the relationship between their hardware and what the software they are running is doing. He did get community noted, saying, the publisher of a game is responsible of providing accurate, recommended, and minimal specs since the consumer has absolutely no way to check how the game is going to run in the hardware before release. Which is true. Randy is attacking and villainizing people that are saying, like, the game doesn't run super smooth. Which is a really weird decision to do. He's just saying, like, listen, you guys with all your, like, cheap-ass hardware are trying to run our game and complaining that it's not running all that great on your dog shit rig. Like, that's on you. You're gonna have to take some responsibility here for being poor. Alright? You can't just point the finger at us. We can't cater to every single fucking device out there. That's on you guys, and it's time you take a hard look in the mirror. Not exactly what he's saying, but that's kind of the sentiment he expresses. Because he goes on, like, a long, long rant. The minimum and recommended specs are published. The most common hardware is a 4-year-old cell phone. Borderlands 4 is a premium game made for premium gamers. I'm just going to take a pause right there.
I'm back. What I missed, chat?
Charlie Kirk is dead.
You kissed the Penguins video on the Charlie Kirk situation? No, because I know what it's going to be. Tucker is dead, by the way. I've heard.
On the same level of Charlie Kirk. And that probably is a good thing, for better or for worse, but that's such an insane statement right there. Now, Myron did say that he would go on to do more of these situations like this, these college interviews.
Obviously, Asheville, we probably won't be able to do it, but we're going to reschedule it. We're not giving up. And
thank you. He's not coming to freaking North Carolina. W.
like I told y'all before, we're going to keep the legacy alive. From this point forward, every time we do a debate table at a college campus or on the streets of Miami, we're going to make sure that we give Charlie a shout out. I think that's the least we can do.
And whether I think that that's right or wrong really doesn't matter. Myron's going to do what he wants to do for the cause that he wanted to. But this should just be known that people are out there actively trying to harm people like you, Myron. And I promise you, you won't get the same reception as a Charlie Kirk for your words and the things that you said on the internet. We've already established that based off of you going into these white supremacist spaces earlier this year, and they kind of shunned you because you weren't one of them. Ultimately, I was just very much surprised at the Charlie Kirk conversation and ultimately the hypocrisy. The way that people are acting in this situation is something that I was honestly not prepared for. I didn't recognize how many people loved him, to what extent. I didn't.
I really live in North Carolina. I think about moving there. It depends on how old you are and what you do for your job. If you're like a young adult, I don't know if I could in good conscience recommend North Carolina. But if you're getting into middle age, you're settling down with a family, it's a good place.
Didn't expect the nation as large to be either rejoicing or kind of championing him like this. And it kind of begs the question, where are we in 2025 where somebody can rise to these levels from YouTube? This is a powerful tool. And I wish I could get into more of the hypocrisy as to how people were praising this person and their death and celebrating it, saying they should have died. But now in this situation, they're condemning people for doing these things. This is something that's not YouTube friendly, so definitely drop by the Patreon. But as of right now, all I can do is sit back as everybody waits for the person who ended his life for the next news cycle to go around. All I can do is sit back and say, wow, I am genuinely shocked.
Yeah.
When it comes to sad, pathetic things on the internet,
this is a year ago video. So yeah, that's the wasn't really much about Dean in that video, but yeah, it's the entire conversation, right? That was people who are completely uneducated and isolated from the consequences of Charlie Kirk's actions, being very quick to be like, condemn, 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 but having no time to spare talking about the harm that Charlie Kirk has caused. You know, I personally view that as disrespectful. That just water in your spray bottle. It's water mixed with leave-in conditioner. It was a little foamy. You can't really see it. It was a little foamy. You're so ghoulish. Yeah. Which is kind of like... It's kind of sad to see. Not to rag on Ludwig some more, but I know my audience appreciates it. It's kind of sad to see. Because, like, I know that Ludwig knows better. You know? He pissed me off more than I should have let it, to be honest. Like, I know that Ludwig knows better. Right? I know that Ludwig is aware of like white supremacy and that black people face specific issues by the consequence of their race, and that people like Charlie Kirk contribute to that. Ludwig can't pull a Lacey. I don't think Ludwig can pretend like he didn't know who Charlie Kirk was. You know, that's why it's all the more disappointing, right, as a Black Ludwig viewer, to see his take amount to basically, you know, you don't have to agree with them, but like, you know, nobody should be happy that he's dead. Death bad. You know? And that's why it's a little bit frustrating. I don't know. But here, I want to end off this section, I do want to look at Hasan's take from yesterday. I think Hasan had a good take yesterday about this. And then we'll get to like the UN calling what Israel is doing a genocide and things of that nature. Jeez, I followed too many people. Oh my goodness. You're really good too, King. Thank you. Hasan Wanabi is what I typed in. Because I misspelled it. Hasan Nabi. Oh, he hit 3 million. Oh, congratulations on 3 million, Hasan. Who knew it would take Charlie Kirk's death to get him over the hump of the 2.9? Is Ludwig true friends with Hasan, or are they just friends, or are they frenemies? I don't know. I'm not gonna litigate whether or not Hasan and Ludwig are like real friends or not. I don't think it's particularly relevant. This was the stream that had the preacher on it too. Yes. I think it was near the end, right? Where was it at? At the very, very end? I think a little bit before this. I wish Twitch added a transcript search.
How dare you?
I think it's probably to do with the thousands of fans dude has, and how they are going to be that much harder to talk to or reason with when you have when they have been on the fence. I don't think you have to like the guy to understand the domino effect that will proceed, if that makes sense. What do you mean? Logan spends too much money hungry. Logan is too money hungry and becomes ridiculous and disgusting at team. He keeps compromising himself at the point I don't even know if he's a good guy. Until yesterday, I'd never heard of Adolf Hitler, but to my understanding, he was bullied and taking his own life. Who would celebrate that? Shaking my head. Exactly.
Witness and the senators talking over each other. So I thought.
Learned his fate. He's fired and banned from making any more
Oh, we'll get to. We can get to the Destiny stuff a little bit later, but I think a little bit after this or before this, 4 hour and 54 minute mark. Oh, that's not the end. That's like the middle of stream. Oh, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for the preacher thing. I'm looking for Hasan talking about how it is to be black and the black experience. That's what I was talking about. Maybe it was after this. That's towards the end. That's what I said. We've read after the preacher part. Those are contradictory. Here.
Extremist Trump support election denier.
I remember seeing this.
One other Israel bro.
To prevent births within the group.
Did he circle back after the Israel coverage?
There is nothing. Aaron Bushnell.
Oh, he's talking about Ethan as well, which we could also get to. I found the first time Lubbock heard Jit was on the yard a while ago. It's so funny. The science played it as junior in training. I've discussed that before, and I won't get into it again right now. 7:45 into the stream. That's where I was.
These sorts of statements, while simultaneously broader society does not understand exactly how violent this shit is.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. I genuinely don't know what to do.
I've never heard of junior in training.
Like,
that's
what
not
do you
what
do
JIT means. JIT does
when-
not mean junior in training.
Half of the two major parties in this country, like one half of the entire political system is just operating on lies and hysteria. You know, the never violent right. What is
Number of
this?
people got shot at a homeless encampment just off of Lake Street earlier.
Yeah, we just covered it. Yeah.
You think it's a little bit? We're gonna skip forward a little bit.
Libs think hypocrisy is like a poison. If it's institutions, if it's institutional violence, if it's systemic, again, you're surrounded by these people who are looking at all that death and destruction. It feels like if you're to fucking sell.
Okay, I found it.
I mean, like low key.
I'm supposed to sit next to you in the break room? You're going to teach my kid at school or serve in government? And I'm supposed to just say, free speech. You're advertising that you're a maniac and that you have no decency, compassion, or humanity.
I mean, like low key. That's how I feel about being around Republicans who fucking celebrate deaths of not just like one person, but entire swaths of the population. That's what it feels like if you're fucking anti-Zionist, if you're anti-Israel, and you're surrounded by these people who are just like looking at, you're surrounded by these people who are looking at all that death and destruction and going, that's awesome. We want more of it. And you should shut the fuck up. But once again, I always say, like, this goes back to how violence is perceived by the masses. If it's institutions, if it's institutional violence, if it's systemic violence, if it's the violence of the state, it's not considered violence by the masses.
So as long as the government doing it, right, you can maybe get mad at the process, right? Oh, wow, like we're bombing this country. Oh, you didn't get proper clearance or permission from Congress. You know, at most that's the anger and resentment people have. I remember this when we were talking about bombing Yemen, which is a rite of passage for every fucking American president, okay? And like even in the Signal Gate, the main point of contention for everybody was how big of a security failure this was, that drunk ass Pete Hegseth had brought in the editor of The Atlantic into the group chat when he was talking about fucking how they're going to be bombing Yemen. And that was the major point of contention. No one was like saying, hey, what?
Honestly, it's kind of crazy that that happened twice. You know what I mean? He did that 2 separate times.
Why the fuck are we bombing a sovereign country? Can someone explain that to me? Like, that's pretty fucked up. That's pretty unacceptable. Why are we doing that? and that to me is indicative of the way that we see state violence, right? Another glaring example of that, like the societal reflection on violence, who gets to do it, who gets to be the recipient of it, and how non-state actors are those who are considered violent, was when Benjamin Netanyahu went on Fox News and just sat there and was like, the type of violence that seeks to silence dissent is one that I'm all too familiar with. And I was like, the fuck do you mean? You've killed every journalist in Gaza, motherfucker. You're a war criminal. You're doing the Holocaust. And you just sit there and you go, oh, I can't believe like the violence that took out Charlie Kirk.
Maybe this is a hot take. I think as soon as Zohran Mamdani gets elected, that Bibi Netanyahu should like kick his feet up and take a vacation to New York. You know, just he's done a lot, and I think he deserves to have a little bit of a rest. So I think that he should go and take a short little vacation to New York City. But only after Zohran Mamdani is elected mayor.
It's coming in my direction too. The very fact
deserves a rest.
Immediate response to that isn't like, says you? Really? You're fucking modern day Adolf Hitler. What the fuck do you mean?
Whereas I'm gonna vote for Zohran, but I'd be shocked if he went through with the arrest promise. I mean, I can't even vote for him because I don't live in New York. I also would be shocked if he did. But hey, let me believe. Let me believe, chat. Okay? Is it so wrong to have dreams? Martin Luther King once said, I have a dream. And I too have a dream. And that is that Bibi Netanyahu gets arrested and then tried at The Hague. I too have a dream.
Is that asymmetry? Is the lack of reflection from the broader society, from the masses, on who gets to do violence? And this is precisely the reason why right-wingers can get away with coming across as not violent, because they simply want more of the things that are happening. If the systems themselves are inherently violent.
Oh, listen. Listen. Once the party starts, it can't be stopped. So they'll try. Right? But you can't unlight a firework once it gets set off. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know what you want. Don't dox me for celebrating, by the way. Hey, I mean, I've already been doxxed, so like that's my life. But like, I can't in good conscience say that you should celebrate. I'm sorry you've been doxxed, chatter. Protect yourself and don't use a free VPN, obviously. But like, you know what I mean? And this is what I'll say. This is what I take. I think the lawsuits in the next 2 years, right? that come from all these people getting wrongfully terminated from their jobs for their free speech are going to be crazy. But that does require the Democrats actually, doing something about like the Supreme Court being so overwhelmingly conservative biased, which they won't. Have you seen this? Chatter, I need more. When you give a link with the description, I need you to say, hey, this is what this video is, please. Thank you very much. Oh, it's a fan cam of Dean and Charlie. See, you could say that. Hey, look, it's a fan cam of Dean and Charlie. This has 500,000 likes. This came out 2 days ago. It has 500,000 likes. Bro, I don't know if Dean can come back from this, honestly. And it's so weird if this is what like ends Dean's career. You know what I mean? I don't even think that it necessarily should specifically, but like if it does, that would be crazy. You gotta step up your game up? What do you mean? What am I supposed to do? He would go right, I guarantee it. Not should. All debate bros should have no careers. I don't even personally have a problem with like Dean being successful. I have a problem with Dean being promoted as the voice for the left over marginalized people. That's my issue. Right? I don't think Dean should be like canceled and like deplatformed or whatever. MSNBC's gonna hire him to take Matthew Dowd's spot? Nah, he doesn't have that much motion. Also, Miles has been on TV for like 12 months. There's a fan fiction on AO3 of Charlie and Dean's love story. That's not surprising. You have to decide to go into Michael Jackson mode and be the new Dean Withers. I don't know if you can just decide to go into Michael Jackson mode. Also, who's to say that I already didn't go into reverse Michael Jackson mode, as Uncle Ruckus once said. Revitiligo. Exactly. Wait, was Dean considered left? I never paid attention to him because I assumed he was a creator for combo type. He is, but he's considered left for some reason. I'm curious. What did he say? No, I'm just from a pure curiosity standpoint. I'm curious if he said anything new today. Nope. I can see Dean turning right. I don't like it. Okay, what I will say that it's if Dean does go right, which I don't necessarily think that he will. Right? But maybe I'm wish casting, so there's not another right-wing commentator. If Dean actually does go right, I do think that it is slightly funny that like it would be like a full circle moment, you know? Where's the fun extra in Miss Rachel music video? See, y'all just don't understand drip. That's what the answer is. Y'all don't like construction core. And you're wrong to not like construction core. 11, not gonna lie. Thank you. He's gonna have Ezra Klein on. I don't think Dean even knows who Ezra Klein is. Your hair looks good. Thank you. I try. Look here. He's reconstructed the 5 tenets of racism. Let's continue with this.
Violent to those who are
whoever right wing and racist and lived back to right in 2 years doesn't feel like a circle. I mean, it's a circle, but it's a small circle. You know what I mean? It's not like a worm circle. It's like a boop. And kind of like it was. His path has kind of been set in stone, right? And I think genuinely the left did a disservice by not holding him accountable for his past. It's almost like this is exactly what I said was going to happen. You feel me? Even him not going like right or whatever, but like him just having a oh, you see right back there. Him just having a blind spot for like the black identity and not being able to speak that experience and then not necessarily caring to learn is like exactly what I said in my video 6 months ago. Does somebody have the link to the Reddit posts or the 2 Reddit posts that were made where people were yelling at me for being too mean to Dean?
Poor, to homeless people, to black people, brown people, undocumented people, trans people, gay people, and you just keep demanding more of that, right? Then technically you're not making a major call to arms. You're just saying, I want more of the thing that already happens. And that's it. That's how these guys can get away. That's how these guys can get away with making these sorts of statements while simultaneously broader society does not understand exactly how violent this shit is. Or at least those in the margins don't understand exactly how violent the things that Republicans
People
are
actually
demanding
use old Reddit.
are.
All the time. I use old Reddit. I do? Wow. Mods, ban all Reddit users in general.
Obviously, if you're black, and when you hear someone like Charlie Kirk be like, you know, police brutality is necessary because black people are violent and doing something, you know, something along those lines. When Charlie Kirk relitigates the same exact fucking racist tropes that have impacted black Americans, he can get away with saying that. Black people understand it's violent, but the broad majority does not. They just think, what do you mean? He's just saying it like it is.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's where it's so frustrating for mostly non-black streamers and some black streamers or content creators or whatever, who are just reducing down Charlie Kirk to just being a guy with a different opinion, a guy who believed something different, a guy who had a different take. You know what I mean? And that's not. And how black people, by and large, saw Charlie Kirk, right? Some cheered it, some felt indifferent, some thought it was bad, but didn't say anything because, you know, Charlie Kirk cheered on the system that oppresses them and their families. That's just the case. You know? So even like normie black people who are not like political content creators understood that like, hey, some people are going to sell. Like you have like when you have Omizi doing better analysis than like Dead Domain, and like Dean Withers and like insert white leftist or liberal here, like that's crazy. Right? You have Rage outflanking some like socialists. By understanding and contextualizing why some people are cheering us on because Charlie Kirk's rhetoric was directly harmful to them. You know? Rich was very valid in his assessment. I don't know if it was clip farming. I don't know him, but the clip was is a response to those affected by his speech, and nowadays his advisory work for the current regime. Yeah. What was that domain's take? It was just like, don't celebrate this. This is the bad thing, and nobody should be celebrating this. You don't understand how bad this can get. That kind of stuff. Right? It was kind of similar to like that about our take as well. Similar to Dean's take and Parker's take. It's a very like, I don't say like white take, but it's a take that doesn't view things from the perspective of like the people who are the most harmed by this rhetoric. You know? Like people saying that it's gonna get really bad when it's been bad. What do you mean? Because it hasn't been bad for a lot of them, right? It's very easy for like Dean to be like, this is gonna get bad or whatever, when like he's been isolated from the consequences of his actions, of the actions of Charlie Kirk in the first place, right? Charlie Kirk's rhetoric does not harm them, but the response to Charlie Kirk's death could harm them, and that's when it becomes a problem. You know? Charlie Kirk's rhetoric benefits them? Not even. Charlie Kirk's rhetoric doesn't even benefit white people, right? As most reactionary conservative rhetoric also doesn't benefit white people, right? It also harms them from like a class analysis perspective. The problem is that they don't view it from a class analysis perspective, right? That's what white supremacy does. White supremacy, its goal is to remove class from the conversation, right? So that you focus on the minute differences of, racial politics versus class politics. You can't get there because they're all too busy fighting. Yes, but the problem is like, this is why I am oftentimes frustrated at like a class reductionist leftist perspective, is because they only look at marginalized people and they say, all right, black people, you need to get on board. You need to get on board with what we're doing because it's class focused politics, right? But it's never the other way around. You know? It's you need to get over being in community with racists, right? Because we need to have a class-focused political movement. But it's never, hey, white people, we need to stop being racist so black people want to build a movement with us. You know what I mean? Right, so instead of actually like addressing issues that face black people, a lot of like white people, even white leftists, see that as like standard, as normal. And when they say it's going to get worse, what it says is like, okay, now things are going to start impacting white people, and then white people are not going to be happy about that, and then it's harder to organize because of that. But like, hey, if black people are oppressed, then like, oopsie daisies. Open person for the 25 gifted. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Oh. You good, Nix? Yeah, she's good. So I also showed the black people yesterday. The chat was scrolling like crazy, and it's been, wow, he's basically leftist. Yeah, which we can look at as well. Right? Because I do oftentimes think, this isn't like just like like a white chat thing. I think it's just a proxy by like the wider like left movement, especially on Twitch, being like very atheistic in nature. Is that like, and also anti-black, is that they just imagine that like black Christianity is the same thing as like white Christianity, which again, I'm not saying there's not issues there, but like radical like politics is like essential to like the black like Christian movement because of its association with like the civil rights movement and how integral it was to that movement as a whole. So like you shouldn't be surprised when like a black preacher is like spitting truth to power, especially on racial issues, because like by and large that is integral to the movement. You know? Like it just is. And it's not even just like these isolated instances of like, oh, Jasmine Crockett's freaking pastor, or like Obama's former pastor or whatever. Like it, by and large, it's quite a bit of black churches that have this like a radical politic, right? It is also kind of funny when you realize that like this probably like libbed up like black pastor is also outflanking a lot of like socialists and communists who are white by being like, hey, some people are going to celebrate this because political violence has always been happening to the black community. You know what I mean? Like, it feels weird to like that being like not the thesis from people who are supposed to know better. You know, that's kind of your thing. You're a leftist. You're supposed to understand, right, these systems of oppression, but you can't even contextualize why some people may be celebrating this. It doesn't give me much confidence in the wider left and how it approaches black people, which is also kind of funny because we just had this discussion about how like the left could be better approaching and marketing and bringing around black people into the space, and I was being told that it wasn't an issue actually. You know what I mean? There was an issue, and I was like wrong and a wrecker for even bringing it up as a conversation. And then I was proven correct once again, like 3 weeks later, right? By white leftists not understanding the black perspective. But do you think that that won't push black people away? Do you think that like black people won't see people who are supposedly woke, right? And see you chastising and see them chastising you before feeling relief at a white supremacist no longer doing white supremacy? You know? Like, if you don't understand that, then like, honestly, maybe black people shouldn't be a part of this movement. Maybe black people should have their own movement. This is basic stuff. This is basic stuff. When we're talking about black people being happy that a white supremacist is dead, and why that is the case. If you don't understand that, then like maybe you're not as left as you thought. I don't know.
What do you not want police? He can get away with Charlie Kirk relitigates the same exact fucking racist tropes that have impacted black Americans.
I'm sorry. Sean C cannot call his fans the seamen. That is not real. I do not believe you. Now we are called that? I do not believe you. That is crazy. That is wild. His fan channel is called The Seaman? Stop. It's set in stone. That's it. It's set in stone. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Obviously, I did see this. This is on the list for me to talk about as well. Here, let's continue.
He can get away with saying that. Black people understand it's violent, but the broad majority does not. They just think, what do you mean? He's just saying it like it is. What do you not want police? You want people to just like keep doing rapes and whatnot? And it becomes this like endeavor to have to explain to people, you know? And in the process of that explainer, they turn around and they say, oh God, you're the real divisive guy. You're being quite divisive, sir.
Or the black people could democratically elect some people that would represent them on a national scale, a new party. If you could just name it after how they chose representatives, they can call it the Democratic Party. Stop.
Why are you calling out my racism? Why are you trying to describe my fucking racism? And I will say, while I've always tried to understand this, I would say that in my professional career, until these past 2 years, I never truly got how fucking enraging it is to constantly have to explain a position with the knowledge in your mind that the broad majorities of society are not going to see you as a full fucking human being. They're always going to have that implicit bias. Until the Islamophobia kicked into fucking high gear with the whole Israel stuff. I always thought I understood it, but I never truly understood it. Okay? I never truly understood, even though I empathize with it and I obviously defended these groups, the fucking unimaginable frustration of having to constantly fucking eat it with the full knowledge that people that are watching, people that are listening, onlookers, maybe even loved ones, right? People that you thought...
Sorry. So I'm making a good take right now, and I want to go back and watch it, but like, Chairman Comer invites CEOs of Discord, Steam, Twitch, and Reddit to testify on radicalization of online forum users. I might be cooked too. If we're being real, I might be cooked too. Where's the Telegram CEO at? Come on. Keyword is invite, not compels. Listen. Dan. The good Dan, not the bad Dan. Or the other bad Dan. Do me a solid. Just don't go. Just don't go. You know, there is nothing for you there. I propose we do a pizza party at Twitch's headquarters. Who's with me? Who's with me? Come on. Twitch staff, we have to do something nice for Dan Clancy, all right? And let's schedule it on October 8th, 2025. We do a pizza party. We play Pin the Tail on the Twitch emote. TwitchCon is happening pretty soon, right? You want to focus on that, right? It's pretty close. So, yeah. Invited to Jackbox night. I think October 8th is Dan Clancy's birthday. He can't make it. Sorry, Comer. He can't make it. He cannot. He can't make it. Read the letters here. Dear Mr. Clancy, the Committee on Oversight and Government Reform requests your testimony at a hearing on Wednesday, October 8th of 2025 at 10 a.m. In room HVC 210 on the Capitol Visitor Center. Here we'll examine radicalization of online forum users, including incidents of open incitement and committing to commit violent political motivated acts. To confirm your appearance at the hearing, please contact the Committee Oversight and Government Reform staff at this number. Please provide your written testimony at least 2 business days prior to the hearing. You will have the opportunity to provide a 5-minute opening statement prior to answering questions by members. The Committee on Oversight and Government Reform is a principal oversight committee of the U.S. representatives that has broad authority to investigate any matter at any time under House Rule X. Thank you for your cooperation in this inquiry. Is this like a you've been invited but like you're required to attend kind of thing? What kind of radicalization is happening on Steam? Who has that Grums tweet? The Grums tweet will explain to you why. They're going to say that Steam has LGBTQ games? No, they're not. They're going to say that Steam has games celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. That's what they're going to say. They might also touch on like NSFW games, but like that's the focus is going to be like, whoa, Steam, why do you have these things or whatever? Right, and there's a good chance a song gets mentioned if Dan Clancy does go. %, he does. I want to point out, I don't know the guy. Who? Hasan who? All I know is Hank Pecker. Somebody created a Steam list of games for devs that post something terrible about Charlie Kirk leaking the reply. Yeah. So probably just the fact that there was like games that like people, it's just probably about stuff like this. But yeah. No X invite, kick invite, rumble invite. Come on, chat. Chat, let's be real. This is obviously a partisan endeavor. They would never invite ex-CEO. Yes, they're not inviting YouTube either. This is a partisan endeavor against whoever the right wing have set their sights on before. He needs to be on his A game.
Empathize with it, and I obviously the Islamophobia kicked into fucking high gear with the whole Israel stuff. I always thought I understood it, but I never truly understood it. Okay? I never truly understood, even though I empathize with it and I obviously defended these groups, the fucking unimaginable frustration of having to constantly fucking eat it with the full knowledge that people that are watching, people that are listening, onlookers, maybe even loved ones, right? People that you thought were allies and friends will never fucking understand. They just won't, especially if they're, you know, let's be real, white men. You can try to understand it, and there's no problem with like not fully being able to comprehend it. I certainly did it fully comprehended for many, many years, okay? Because I'm a white passing dude. I'm a white guy. I'm 6'4". I'm traditionally attractive by Western standards. So, like, when I was advocating for trans people, or when I was advocating for black people, when I was advocating for undocumented migrants, like, there was always a level of security that I had, or a not being directly in the targeted group, the dehumanization. I just didn't, I never experienced what it's like fully, because I didn't live here post 9/11. Remember, I only came here in 2000. Well, I guess I technically came here. I mean, I came here post 9/11, but like I missed the most heated moments, right? I came here in 2009. And even when I was experiencing it didn't feel that bad, and I overlooked it. But it is so fucking frustrating that I know for a fact, for example, that there is a decent percentage of the population that will never, ever on this issue, on the issue of Israel, on the issue that they have bracketed off as like a Muslim issue, right? There are a fuck ton of people who will just never listen to what I have to say. It's also part of the reason why I...
To David News? Yes, I did. I was going to talk about it after this.
Part of the reason why I value Jewish allies, white allies in this stuff. Because those people can make a larger impact. You know?
But like this conversation is like what I see a little bit about his own experience in the real way. After seeing him try to stay so strong publicly. Like I've been, for being real, I've been saying this from the black perspective for ever. Right? That's the reason why I got into streaming in the first place. Right? I looked at the landscape. I looked at the streamers that I watched. And if I'm being real, I didn't see any black people. I looked at the content that I enjoyed and I didn't see any black people. Right? And as a wise man once said, be the change you want to see in the world. And so I was like, RDC. To be fair, RDC wasn't streaming. They weren't streaming politics. LeBron James said that? Probably. Is that a Charlie Kirk quote? Probably not. But yeah. But whenever I talk about my experience as a black person and how it is frustrating, right, as a black person, to be relegated to the sidelines, because that's kind of your only role on the left. Right? That's kind of what you are, that's the box you're put into. You are put into like the magical Negro side character role in your own existence advocacy. Right? You are the side character for the white main character to be anti-racist. You know? Like that's kind of what you amount to. You only exist to like legitimize the argument that white people are making about your existence. You're never going to be the voice, right? You're never going to be the person who is speaking about your experience, right? Your experience is never going to be centered. You're just there to like, legitimize the voices of your peers. And that's frustrating. Right? Yeah, you're a prop. It's not talked about that just before the wedding too. He just why white people don't have the right to marginalize people, how they feel about Charlie. If you have a link to that, we'll take a look at that as well. Because I want to see that. As an indigenous person, I feel that. People be acting like as an Asian wisdom for the white people's journey, your voice is never centered. You're always the accessory to someone else's story. Yeah. And that's why I've been so critical about formerly racist white people who've been elevated to the position of movement leaders for some reason, right? When they haven't demonstrated the fact that they've actually legitimately changed, that they're actually legitimately different. You know? Like when I first started, it was Vosh. Right? When there was like a black person who was like absolving Vosh of his racism. Right? Because Vosh kept doing racist stuff after, you know, he was dropping slurs and he wasn't held accountable for it. What a surprise. It's Ethan. Ethan never was held accountable for his rhetoric. He never apologized for the harm that he caused when he was a right-winger. Right? And then look at what happened after October 7th. And it's Dean. Right? Dean had not demonstrated that he was like meaningfully different, or that he had like a legitimate apology, or that he's or that enough time has passed between him actually saying slurs and then being elevated to a movement leader, that when it came to him actually empathizing from the black perspective, he just wasn't able to do it. Right? Because he was never held accountable. He never needed to prove that he actually believed the things that he was saying. And it's frustrating, right? It's frustrating as a black person to see people like Vosh and Ethan and Dean be elevated to positions that I would like to see a black person in, right? Where they can talk about the perspective of things that they just don't experience. You know, that's frustrating. Right? Because the truth of the matter is that white people would rather listen to other white people talk about black issues than listen to the black people themselves. Right? Because listening to black people makes them uncomfortable. And so that's frustrating. And so when you see the ostensibly movement leaders of of the leftist movement, people who have the biggest bullhorns, right? People who make the most money off the backs of our humanity, and we get the pennies. Legitimately, we get the pennies. Like, if I had to guess who is a black person who makes the most money, at least speaking on black issues online, it's probably FD Signifier. Outside of like maybe like a Dr. Umar, but I don't think he counts, you know? Like, who is somebody that like speaks to black issues outside of Clandis? Clandis doesn't speak to black issues. She's a grifter. She grifts to the right by absolving the right of their racism. What about Mark Lamont Hill? I don't know if Mark Lamont Hill makes like that much money. He's not like a creator. He's an academic, and he does go on podcasts, but like, which I think he might have more like influence, but I don't think he's like. I don't think he makes money. Ta-Nehisi Coates. Ta-Nehisi Coates is an author, and also not a creator. You know. So, Hakeem Jeffries, stop. We're not just naming random black people. Cat Black, absolutely. Do we think Cat Black makes more money than FD Signifier? Richie Torres. No way. Then why are people saying it? Oh no, just mentioning her just for vibes? That's fine. Cat Black's cool. Speed? Speed doesn't speak to black issues. I feel like we're just naming black people. Point being, right? Point being is that even if FD Signifier is like the most well compensated black person who speaks on black issues, he still makes less money than Dean, if we're being entirely real. If we're being entirely real, he makes less money than Dean. He just does. Right? There's a ceiling on how far black people can grow, even when talking about their own lived experience and humanity. And that's kind of crazy, right? Is that not a little bit crazy? Is it also a question of messaging, though? I imagine most leftists in general don't make as much money as the status quo conservatives and libs. No, that's not true. Hasan's a multimillionaire. It's not like the money's not there. You know what I mean? Right? But the truth of the matter is that people feel more comfortable hearing, that's like an anomaly almost. No. I mean, it's as much of an anomaly that, like, first of all, it shouldn't be an anomaly, right? If one person in the leftist movement is making like 30 times more than like the second person in the leftist movement, like that is a disparity more than it is an anomaly, and it needs to be addressed, right? Because there's a smaller market share that will even entertain it because people's racism, explicit or subconscious. So there's 33 million, greater than 30 million people, only about 50 million will enjoy black creators in earnest. Agrees your point in general, just wondering if it's multifaceted. I mean, I'm sure it's multifaceted. I'm not making any wise assumptions being like, this is the only reason why. Right, but the point of the matter is regardless of like the intricate connecting features of why that's the case, in reality, that, you know, there are not a lot of black people who are able to, you know, grow to the level that white people or their white contemporaries are able to by speaking about black issues. You know, that is just the case. That is the reality. And we can try to rationalize why that reality exists, but we do have to understand that that is the reality, right? And it is frustrating, especially when something like this happens and you have these same people who've been pocketing bank on talking about black issues and talking about the black experience, who then turn around and say, hey, if you celebrate his death, you're a bad person. You know, and that's frustrating. That's the frustrating part of it. You know, is that as a white person, you can come up and say all the right things. You say racism bad, and you were elevated to a movement leader position, right? Without actually having to do any actual work to become anti-racist, right? Without having to do any actual work to unlearn your bigoted views, right? And I said this before, we're talking about Dean last time, is that people on the left value growth more than they value, you know, lived experience. Part of it is white people don't trust black people on black issues. They want a white filter. That's not even necessarily true. Right? I don't even fully subscribe to that. That's partially true, but the issue is not even like, the issue is not that when it comes to like black people trying to appeal to the humanity of those white people, like the people that are trying to be converted. For example, if talking about like converting right wingers, You have the right wingers who are trying to convert, and then you have the left wing people who are supposedly already on your side. The truth of that comes in that it's not that the white people that are trying to be converted won't listen to black people, right? There's been numerous instances of those white people listening to black people and understanding black people's humanity. The Klansmen who are like talking to a black person and being like, okay, you're a person too. Let me put up the Klan hood or whatever. That has happened. That's not necessarily the issue. The issue is the people who claim to be on the left already not giving any quarter to black voices. That's the problem. People who claim to be a part of the movement not doing the work to seek out the lived experience of marginalized people because they think that they've already done all the work. Right? I forgot what I was saying before that, though. I got distracted. I remember. Anyway, I was saying that people were frustrated. That, like, a white person can just be racist, say, I'm no longer racist, and then they're elevated to the position of movement leader, all separate from the black people who are directly experiencing the violence themselves. You know? Should marginal voices create their own space? I mean, marginalized people can do whatever they want to do. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and say like you should or should not or can or cannot do something, right? But I will say that's not an answer, right? It's like separate but equal, kind of a little bit. But I don't think that that's gonna solve the problem of white people becoming very successful off of the backs of speaking on black issues, but black people being left out of that conversation as a whole. You know? I like thank you for the two gifted subs. Much appreciated. Right. There's not really a easy like one size fits all answer. Right? It has to do with every individual person whose first inclination, right, is let me tune into Dean's stream, or let me tune into Hasan's stream, or let me tune into Mike's stream, or let me tune into, I don't know, insert X white person's content first, especially when talking about black issues, right? That is a culture, right, that we need to change. You know, being like, I'm going to go to the white voices because I feel comfortable or I feel safe, right, in these spaces. They don't challenge my worldview, right? They don't make me feel uncomfortable. They don't make me, interrogate my beliefs, right? As it pertains to racial issues. I'm not saying that they don't do that for other things, but like as it pertains to racial issues. And I think that's a big part of why a lot of people don't necessarily want to listen to black voices is because it makes them uncomfortable. Do you think when talking about black issues, white streamers should platform black streamers so they can speak for themselves? I think that's like a half-step solution, but it's not going to fix the issue because it needs to be an overall cultural shift by the audience, right? I can go on Hasan's stream every day and talk about black issues and it will do almost nothing if the audience itself is not, interrogating their own beliefs about why they feel as though I listened to Hasan today. I don't need to listen to what black people have to say. You know? That's something that like the audience has to has to think about. When you're dropping part-time, what do you mean? Like my job? You go into idea brokers to get your talking points because those people who package it in a way you can stand. It doesn't upset your established self-narrative. Yes, like black people talk segment might even be counterproductive in that environment. Yeah. I mean, the chats react terribly. That's also true. Streaming 12 hours a day, even if I do full-time content, that's not gonna happen. People have to be open to learning and not thinking they are at the end of their leftist journey, in my opinion. I agree. I said this before as well. A lot of people think that they've made it. Right? A lot of people think that they don't have any more growing to do. They think, okay, I've arrived at this position. You know, I've arrived at this position. I have, I'm not watching Hasan every day. Like, I'm chilling. I'm good. They don't understand that maybe, one, Hasan could also learn more. And then two, on top of Hasan learning more, they could also learn more as well. Speaking to black people, understanding their perspectives, so that when a situation happens and a white supremacist is killed, they're not so quick to condemn everybody celebrating it because they're thinking from a very narrow-viewed perspective. I forgot to tell Hasan you said that. He used to not watch your streams because I thought it wasn't for me. I challenged myself in the fact, and I didn't watch black streamers with the consistency. Now I'm catching your streams as much as I can. I appreciate that. I will also acknowledge that like my streams aren't for everybody, right? Because like Hasan does something that I don't do. I think there's a place for it, right? So when I say that like people need to expand their horizons and engage with more black content, I'm not even necessarily talking about myself. You feel me? Like right now I'm sitting solid with like 980 viewers on Twitch and then like 80 viewers on YouTube. Like I'm chilling to a certain extent. You feel me? Now, of course, having more viewers is always good. But my perspective is mostly so that people after me, people like me, right? Trans people, queer people, right? Indigenous people, people who have different perspectives are engaged with. And they can speak to their own lived experiences, right? They can speak to things that they've experienced. And it will make you a more well-rounded leftist. And it will make sure that those people who are experiencing hardships are at least able to thrive in the same way that white people speaking about our issues can thrive. You know? The issue is that these white streamers don't have a perspective of allowing black voices to be powerful. They don't have a revolutionary perspective. If they did, it would be a different story. Maybe. I agree with the audience shifting their own mentality. That's been my experience as well. Starting with Hasan and getting comfortable, just hearing his takes, and then starting watching more marginalized creators speak out about their perspective as well. Yeah. When it comes to condemnation, I feel that one, how much do you know that person? And two, is it from a place of empathy or punishment? What do you mean? Growth comes at the other end of discomfort. We can not really live in empathy with others and refuse to even feel a fraction of the discomfort and the pain that lived experiences cause them. No one is asking you to challenge who you are. It's allowing yourself to experience others and not like just allow the experience of others, not like you, to inform how you choose to be yourself. Yeah. But like, that's where I think a lot of people's frustration with Dean comes from. Let's circle back around to Dean because that's how the conversation started, right? That is where people's issues with Dean came from. Dean, honestly, to little fault of his own, was kind of pushed to be like the voice of the left, the voice of the young left, liberal Spider-Man, right? Young, curly-headed white kid, who, dunked on conservatives or whatever. And people loved that. Even though there were black contemporaries, right, on the Jubilee circuit. They didn't get to nearly that level of attention and notoriety because they weren't marketable in that same sort of way. I thought Spider-Lib was that Parker guy. No, it's his Dean. Dean Spider-Lib. You know? And so Dean was kind of pushed to the front perspective of like the left-wing movement. Not leftist, but like left-wing movement. And he would be like debating conservatives about like the humanity of black people. And he had no intention of growing. Genuinely, he had no intention of growing. I did not know Dean was Spider-Lib. I thought it was Parker. Either Dean or Parker that used to be conservative. Dean. Like you have a rando online you know nothing about if you condemn their language. I feel that frequently it's because you want to punish the language and voice that you in voicing that you disagree with or disapprove of. With empathy, you have to find what voices is worth, what perspective you might have missed, which I think you can do if you do know them. Otherwise, you're mansplaining, so to speak. I'll be here today. Thank you. Also, I love that he said Dean is Josh Holland Spider-Man. 3 Dave, thank you for the 5 gifted. Much appreciated.
I was about to go get that Eddie.
Thank you. But yeah, that's sort of my overarching perspective. I do think, from my point of view, and I could be biased here, things are getting slightly better, because one thing I have noticed is I have noticed more people tuning into my streams, you know? I have noticed more first-time chatters taking a chance and being more willing and able to click on my streams and even give it an opportunity to speak to them. And they may come to the conclusion that it's not for them, right? That's fine. I think that is a normal thing that can happen. Sometimes I watch people's streams and then I realize that it's not for me. Sometimes I watch people's streams and I'm like, she's a baddie. You know what I mean? I have a lot of thoughts when I watch people's streams. And I'm just giving you for the 5 gifted subs. Much appreciated. Look, Tim, 2077. Thank you for the 5 gifted subs as well. Much appreciated. Been following you for over a year. I recently started watching your stream, and you started streaming more consistently. To be fair, I've been streaming consistently for the past year. All right, I'm just gonna put that out there. Spooky Sequel, thank you for the continuing sub. First time chatter here, W. You gave me something to engaging to listen to at work. Honestly, the biggest surprise is that you watched Ludwig.
I did everything right and they indicted me.
Cancel me. Cancel me. Sometimes he's good background noise, all right? Merg Love, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. You do? I know it's surprising, considering the fact that I not only call out Ludwig like every stream, but I also got into beefs with 2 notable like Ludwig community members. I don't know if you remember that, chat. I got into Twitter drama with Slime, and I got into Twitter drama with Shake Drizzle. On 2 completely separate occasions.
I live like a capitalist every single day.
You would know if you watched Ludwig. I don't know who either of those people are. If you watch Ludwig, you would know. Do you watch the Yard every week? I do not watch the Yard every week. I watched there's an interesting thing that happens. I didn't know the Shake Drizzle one. Yeah, because I made a tweet about Ludwig doing something. I don't know. Ludwig always does something bad, and so I made a tweet about like, I'm not gonna speak much about this, but I don't like this thing Ludwig did. And then Shake was like, why are you vague posting? I hate when people vague post about this. Just say what you mean. And I was like, relax. I'm sorry, okay? I went to sleep. I made a post and went to bed. I apologize. Right, and so then I explained it, and it ended like on like amicable terms or whatever. But like, I didn't even do anything. 3 Dave, thank you for the gifted sub. And every excuse, thank you for the 7-month resubscription as well. But yeah. Were you vape posting though? Yes. Yes, I was. Is the most embarrassing thing about you is you watch Ludwig? That's crazy. That is crazy. Hey, if you think about it, I'm one of the last Black Ludwig fans remaining. We're standing strong. You have any Ludwig merch? I do have Ludwig merch. He has a good hoodie. I don't have it here. It's in LA. The chess boxing hoodie is actually a good quality hoodie. Okay, cancel me. Take me away, officer. But realize you're locking up a black man. All right. You can take me away, but you realize that you're locking up a black man. You're adding to mass incarceration. Exactly. You're criticizing on Ludwig finally got me to unsubscribe to no YouTube. Really? Dog, I'm never getting on the yard. Y'all are not helping my never getting on the yard allegations. Yeah, Shadi, baby, hate Ludwig. You know, that's how it is. Just text your bestie slime. That is the easiest way to get blocked. Honestly, the biggest surprise is the fact that I didn't get blocked by slime. Legitimately. I thought when I saw the slime reply, I was like, I'm totally getting blocked. Because slime blocks everybody. Y'all made up, right? Yeah, we did. We talked about it in the DMs. Tizzy Hustle, thank you for the 111 bits. Much appreciated. And then the Olinus Funk, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. And Frog Girl, thank you for the 19 months. Jeez. 19-month resubscription. Literally, he blocks everyone. I know. I live like a capitalist. Scooch on by. Excuse me. Apple Murd, thank you for the 5 months.
Apple_Mayor just subscribed.
I feel bad for Slime because he has an evil doppelganger that used to be a part of OTK. I live like a capitalist. I was talking about Tectone. I live as a capitalist. Sale Cat, thank you for the 6 month in advance.
Hey.
Much appreciated. We're hitting 1K today, almost. Yo, Grimlow, thank you for the raid. I zoned out for a second. I came back and didn't know it was a raid on my screen. Hello, hello. Welcome in, Gremlins. I hope you had a good stream. We're talking about black people. Here's on point. I love white people. And also non-white people. Because my hair is genuinely a mess. But I appreciate the compliments. My favorite thing about white people, you know, I criticize the white people a lot. My favorite thing about white people is that they never know. They never know about what is bad about black hair. They just see it and they're like, oh, that's unique. Did you do something different with your hair? Like your roots can be grown out. You know, your roots can be grown out. You haven't had a retwist in 3 months. You feel me? Your hair is frizzy. Like your edges sweated out. You don't got a fade, and they're just like, "Oh, that's unique." As a black person, your hair looks very good. Thank you. It's healthy. I'll say that. Like it's healthy. What's wrong with frizz? Nothing's wrong with frizz, okay? Frizz is a normal part of your hair. I'm not coming for you if you have frizz. Exactly. Is anything good for you? Yes, the day before wash day, talking about I love your hair. This is literally the day before wash day. I haven't washed my hair yet. It's a freaking mess. Look at it. Project you was talking about earlier, but you see that Dan Clancy's been summoned by Congress? I did. Which is why I must reiterate, Hasan, I have no idea who that is. One's in the chat if you also don't know who this Hasan Piker guy is. See, look. None of us know who this Hasan guy is. Oh, you want to see my dog? Come here, Nixie. Come here. Come here. Nix. Come here. Come. Come. Oh, hey, Sierra. Come here. 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 Don't lay down. All right, now I'm picking you up. All right, I'm picking you up. All right. Come here, Nixie. Yep, nope, you can't kick me off of you. Nope, I'm picking you up. Come on. Stop it, just get up. Just. I got her. She's gonna hate me. Look at her. Look at her. She's so mad. Her ears aren't even standing up anymore because she's so mad I woke her up. Oh, I'm sorry, Nix. I'm sorry, Nix. I'm so sorry. You can sleep right here. How about that? Yeah. You bring back 2? No, I'm still home, technically. This one's coming back with me, though. She doesn't have a choice. You want to leave? What you gonna leave me for? How much bigger are they expected to get? Well, this one's gonna get as big as her. Hey, Sierra. See? Okay, I'll let you down. All right, I'm sorry. Bless you. Hey, C. You good? Yeah, she's good. She's fine. Is Sierra the mommy? Yes. These huskies have a husky talk. I'm addicted to husky talk. 2 huskies sound like a headache. Oh, you didn't see earlier this morning or yesterday where they were fighting. I'm gonna put a chain on the dog. No, this is not the Ethan Klein stream. I know they are chewers. Yes. I wish I could show you the leash that Nick's bit just clean through. That one looks like my husky. This one? Are you in North Carolina by chance, chatter? Why do you look cool just as a bin man? I am not. Okay, then never mind. Also, bin man? What do you mean? Y'all don't know drip. Construction Core is coming back. I'm telling you. Construction Core is coming back. It's coming back. Recession indicator? Okay, you're just wrong. You're just incorrect. You're just mad that I can rock it. Overalls? I also have a pair of overalls, but they're back in Los Angeles. I do. I have a pair of white overalls. I thought it was from an anime. You thought that this shirt was from an anime? No, it's from freaking Burlington Coat Factory. That's where it's from. So is that OSHA core? I mean, yeah, that works too. You need a DigiSafe hat? I wish I had a DigiSafe or DigSafe hat. Not DigiSafe, DigSafe hat. I'm gonna see if I can find one actually. As a North Carolina native, this is something someone from North Carolina would wear. Hey, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. When in Rome, do as the Romans do, and that is wear high vis materials. Just let this cosplay real worker guys quick cancel him. Hey, excuse you. I am actually a union member, mind you. Okay, hop off my nuts. I am a member of a union. Okay, so I'm not stealing Valor. Valor is stealing me. Anyway, what were we talking about? Oh, black people. So it's your non-callous hands? No. Charles about to outlaw OSHA core for real? Why would he do that? Hey, Nix. Why would you eat that? Does it taste good? Is it delicious? Nix, why are you eating that? It's literally cloth. You have a stick thing. Here, eat this. Nix, eat this. Eat this. There we go. There you go. Good doggy. Hey, Sierra. How you doing? Alrighty. Oh my goodness, please sit down. Thank you. I saw Sierra stretching and I was like, it's about to get super bad in here. Okay, it was fine. Put Cupid links on the dog for real. Hey, we can match then. We already united. I think we stressed out about it a couple months ago. The process is ongoing. I won't speak more to it. When is Nick's getting her own do-rag? Probably no time soon. Did I see Casey Tron's tweet? What was Casey Tron's tweet? It was sad. Is it the tweet that was in response to Ethan? I know it is technically in response to Ethan, but it's a separate in response to Ethan tweet. Ethan covered Casey's tweet on his podcast. This is a new tweet. This is a new tweet from today. It's a longer tweet. Do you have a baby harness so you can put your puppy in when you walk outside? Nix has a harness. She doesn't like wearing it though. Anyway, I think this is it for this clip. I'm sure Ethan was compassionate in his coverage. You know it. The most.
No U.S. outlets reporting this. U.S. lawmakers from 50 states plant.
Yeah, that is. Because then he goes into the 250 lawmakers going to Israel to plant trees. But yeah, that is my take about like the black experience on Twitch. I know if you're coming from Gremlo's stream, you probably have no idea what we said, which is like, yeah, that's kind of how it works because you guys came in after we talked about it. But just take my word for it that I was correct. Oh wait, I remember what we're gonna do. I meant like a harness for a baby human. No, she is too big to be put on a harness. Yes, I did see this as well. I literally have this bookmark to talk about. I did see it. It's literally bookmarked. Also, the David stuff. I also have bookmarked. Oh my freaking goodness. There's so much stuff. Here, I'll start with this because it's short, because I don't have any more information. I also want to thank Philemon, thank you for the 100 bits. Klein Clementine, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Goose did RS, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Graham, thank you for the 24 months. It's Maya, thank you for the gifted sub. Sailcat, thank you for the 6 month in advance. Apple Murder, thank you for the 5 months. And People Kids, thank you for the 17 months. Much appreciated. Love your hair game. Thank you. Let's do David first, because it's short. Body discovered in David's impounded car identified as a teenage girl. This, I have questions. Because I'm looking for, like, new information now. I'm not looking at the TMZ audio podcast.
A shocking discovery.
This was a week ago. This is what David had to say, breaking his silence. But now we know that the body was a teenage girl.
Was made in a car registered to musician D4VD.
D4VD. Thank you, News.
Los Angeles Police Department officers found human remains wrapped in a bag hidden in the front trunk of a Tesla on September 8th, authorities told NBC Los Angeles. The body, which law enforcement sources told NBC News was not intact, was found after the LAPD was called to Hollywood Tow Yard over a foul odor coming from a vehicle, which had been sitting in the impound lot for several days. While officials have not released additional details about the deceased, the car is registered in Hempstead, Texas, under D4VD's real name, David Anthony Burke, according to the outlet. Police said the vehicle had been towed after it was abandoned.
So she wasn't hanging out with her. Is this the same link? I don't. This is a link with 73 likes. I'm gonna need something a little bit more substantive. Like, where are these people getting this information from? There's a missing persons poster. Where is that from? If somebody can find me a link to where the missing persons report poster is, then I would feel a little bit more comfortable showing the rest of this.
I can't forget. Hi, how are you? Celeste. I've been chilling. Just drop it. I can't forget. Hi, how are you? Celeste. I've been chilling. Just drop it.
What?
Celeste. I've been chilling.
What?
Celeste. I've been chilling. Just drop it.
What? What? Oh my goodness graciousness. TMZ is still not trustworthy, but it's a little bit more trustworthy than a random tweet. David and victim have matching tattoos. Okay, let's finish this video off first.
Abandoned in the Hollywood Hills. Following the car's discovery, a spokesperson for D4VD said in a statement to NBC News that the singer has been informed about what's happened, and although he is still out on tour, he is fully cooperating with authorities. 20-year-old D4VD has been on tour across the United States in support of his debut album, Withered. He performed in Chicago over the weekend and is scheduled to hit Minneapolis, Denver, as well as Seattle before returning to LA later this month. For more updates on this
Girl reported missing like a year ago.
story, visit eonline.com.
I need more information. So TMZ is reporting this. This makes a little bit more sense. Singer David has a tattoo on his finger, letters "sh" and the young girl's body found in a Tesla, the same tattoo on her finger. TZ reported the body has now been identified as 15-year-old Celeste Rivas. Authorities said she had a tattoo on her right index finger with the letters, and David's tattoo is also on his right index finger. Wrap it up. Could be human trafficking, could be a runaway. How old is he? He's like 23, 24. He's an adult. This is like, sorry, he's 20. He's 20. Still insane. Here, I'd rather look at it from NBC. Yeah. The girl Celeste Rivas was identified through forensics. Los Angeles reported. Los Angeles County medical examiner has not determined the cause of death. The Riverside Sheriff's Office, in a Tuesday statement that has been confirmed with the Los Angeles Police Department, that Celeste Rivas Hernandez has been identified as the juvenile who's reported missing in Lake Eleanor, yeah. The Los Angeles Police Department is investigating this incident as a homicide and will be the point of contact for any further details from this investigation. The remains were found on September 8th in Los Angeles. Like, we know how it was found. The medical examiner's office said the girl was wearing a tube top, black leggings, a yellow metal chain bracelet, and stud earrings. She was described as having wavy black hair and weighing 71 pounds. Jeez Louise. The law enforcement sources told NBC News the remains were not intact. The medical examiner said it appears the girl had been dead inside the car for an extended period of time. I'm sorry. Just the concept of being a pedophile and getting a matching tattoo with your 14 turning 15-year-old or turned 15-year-old victim, your trafficked victim, on the tattoo is absolutely insane. Let's go down. It's a Rihanna tattoo. Tattoo's not unique. Rihanna popularized the tattoo on her right index finger back in 2008. Lindsay Lohan and Lily Allen both have the same tattoo. It's still not a good look. Still, sure, a lot of people have that tattoo, but it's very much not a good look when a minor has the same tattoo as you and was found in your car. That's not a good look. Even if it's a common tattoo. You reading it gets worse. I'm going to go back to what I was reading beforehand because I skipped over it a little bit because the chat told me to scroll down. TZ spoke with Celeste's mom and told us that about her daughter's tattoo, adding it was in red ink. The mom said Celeste was missing for more than a year, but was suspicious of the Tesla discovery because she said Celeste's boyfriend's name was David. TMZ contacted LAPD's robbery homicide division and forwarded the contact information for Celeste's mom. We read this one, tattoo's not unique. As for David, we looked at photos from April through the beginning of August 2024, where he did not have the tattoo. The first photos you see of David from September 2024. First photo where you see the tattoo on David from September 2024. Now, if we scroll back up, she was last seen in April in 2024. And he did not have the tattoo before that. But he got the tattoo after that. That's interesting and weird. David has been on tour for a while, has not been in Los Angeles for more than a month. Police have not revealed who was driving the Tesla before it left. It was left on a Hollywood street in Impound on September 8th. The vehicle has not been reported stolen. Police have not said if they had a suspect. We reached out to David's rep, who did not want to interfere with the ongoing police investigation, so they did not comment. Of the greatest source, but it could be corroborated. Apparently, the people in his Discord mentioned he had a girlfriend named Celeste. Yeah, I don't think it can be a corroborate. I also love how they try to scratch out the names, but like you can very clearly read the names as like Kylie and Billy. Like their names are very clear. But like, honestly, I think there is enough information here to warrant David being a person of interest. At the very, very, very least. Like, I don't know. I think that's at the very least, if there was no other connecting threads, one must ask, how did a missing 15-year-old who went missing last year end up in the trunk of your car? First of all. Second of all, how did a missing 15-year-old who's been missing since last year, that you have a matching tattoo with, even if it's a common tattoo, end up in your car? Thirdly, how did a missing 15-year-old who you have a matching common tattoo with end up in your car, where the mother of that 15-year-old said that her boyfriend's name was your name? In my opinion, it's an extremely bad look that he hasn't canceled his tour. The car was not reported stolen. How old is he? He's 20. The speculation, I saw this on Reddit that she ran away from home. I believe that. I believe that, this is what I think. From the information I have, if I'm going to make some assumptions about what I know about young teenage girls, having like, you know, been friends with them when I was a teenager and having a younger sister, they like to kind of do whatever they want to do sometimes. And so if there's a boy who is older, sometimes they will very often hide that from their parents. And there are very common instances where like they will like run away with this person because they're being groomed, obviously. And their parents rightfully don't necessarily approve of that relationship. So like, that is not something that is unique, especially when you have somebody who has money, like pop star David does have. That would not be a out of the possibility answer. I think that potentially, somehow, some way, David came across this 13-year-old. They got into a relationship. Keep in mind, at this point, David is 18, right? He's either 17 at the very youngest. At the very, very youngest, he would have been 17 years old, but he was probably 18, right? And she would be 13, right? But like, what were the chances that it was him who did it? Honestly, low. But this is what I think. Maybe they met when she was 12 or when she was 13 and he was 17. They got into this relationship. She ran away from home to be with him, and he had the money right, to take care of her for some amount of time, right? And eventually, fast forward 2 years, something happened, right? She ends up dead, and then he or his team end up covering it up or trying to, very poorly, mind you. And yeah. If this was a random person who had no ties with him, that would be one thing. But still, like, how did she end up in your car? But it does seem like they were... It seems like there's some connecting link between the two of them. Right? If she weighed that little, she was probably being trafficked. Yeah, she could be being trafficked while being in a relationship with David. Those are not mutually exclusive. You know? It's like they could be in a relationship and then he trafficked her while, like, being in that relationship. You know, he's offering her, like, money and status and whatever to, like, be with him. It's not outside of the realm of possibility. And I don't know if he killed her, just because we don't even know if he was involved. But it would not be surprising to me if there was some foul play within her death. And he would be, to some degree, culpable for it. And then he and his team, maybe a fixer or two in LA, try to cover it up. And it just... Yeah. He didn't report his car stolen. The remains were in the car and they were abandoned. I think maybe there's definitely foul play in her death. 14-year-olds don't just drop dead. Yes, but like I'm saying that foul play where he is directly involved. Right? Because if she just died from like outside, like, you know, foul play, like murder, like if somebody just other than him killed her, he would call the police and he would get that reported or sorted out. Right? Like this, for her to end up essentially dismembered in his trunk, he has to be integrally involved in her murder. There's no other way that happens. There's no way that he comes out innocent in this, from my view. I just can't see why you put the body in a car registered to you. I think happened. I think his team told him to go on tour. So I think, if I had to speculate, I feel gross speculating, but if I had to speculate, something happened. Maybe there was an overdose that implicated him in the death. His team was like, go on tour. We will handle this. They start handling it. Maybe they get distracted. Maybe somebody else gets found out. And they are not able to fully, right, dispose of the body or whatever. And it ends up coming back to him. But this is the most elaborate framing job of David. That's not... impossible. I love a crime drama. This isn't a crime drama. I know you're being like sarcastic. You're not being serious, but like a 15-year-old girl is dead, you know? Yeah, I know you weren't being serious, Chatter, but I want to make sure that we're at least treating this with some level of seriousness. Because like it's not good. Right. If I thought you were like actually like, you know, being sincere, I would have banned you, because that would have been unacceptable to me. But like I just want, this is a learning opportunity. Yeah. I don't know. I don't see a way where he comes out of this like scot-free. I don't see a way where he gets away with this. I personally. I think he was involved. It'll make David's pandering to teenagers much more insidious. I think Hasan will get banned. Okay, we're not doing this either. Just relax, Chatter. Really, they had the same tattoo or something on the index fingers, what I read in the article. Yes, that's how we got here in the first place. That's Hasan, he's live. Chatter probably came in here because Hasan was talking about it. I know, he's talking about doing squats. Okay. It was an elaborate ploy for me to open up Hasan's stream. One of the best streamer chatter relationship dynamics I've seen. I love this place. My stream? Thank you. I try. But oh, this is also what we're talking about as well. What's Hasan's connection? It's about this thing. About Dan Clancy being called to like testify in front of Congress. But yeah, I think he's involved. There are apparently, allegedly, pictures of them together, which I have not personally corroborated, which is why I don't necessarily feel fully comfortable blasting. But they're out there if you want to see them. I think he was involved. I think it looks like her and it looks like him. But I'll wait for some confirmation from any article. But like, it looks bad for him. There's no other way to put it. There's no other way to put it. It looks bad for him. Also, this man has a song called Romantic Homicide. Yeah, I also don't want to hold that against him, because I hate doing the whole like, oh, the art you make shows that you are a murderer or whatever. But it is irony. You think I get a refund on my ticket? No, he's not canceling the tour, Chatter. He's doing the act like everything is normal and regular and fine. And then, you know, hope for the best. Jason's gonna get a million questions when he goes live. Yeah. Yeah. He probably won't answer them. But yeah. Who's Jason? Jason the Ween. Not Jason D100. Jason the Ween. Who has a song with David. And who has performed, or is going to perform live with David. He does? Yeah. They're friends. They released a song 2 months ago. Right? Jason the Ween and David make a song.
All the way back, yeah. Bro, chat. I low-key been leveling up.
Different time, different place, so a different season. But I need you, I need you, I need you to bring your best friends.
And then
You
now
can
just jump in?
Yeah, cut where it says to bring your, and then you're gonna say to bring your best. Right after the last need you.
And then I say to bring your best.
To bring your best. Need you, I need you to bring your best friend. Yeah, so
How you do that? Fuck. And
terrible song. I haven't heard the actual song.
Fat. Yeah, and my verse right there.
Like, this is 2 months ago, chat. There is a decent chance that, like, this girl is dead at this point. It's like some man when Chat called this song mid. Like, there's a decent chance that, like, she was missing since last year. She was definitely missing by this point. But there was a good chance that she's in the trunk. Right? Because the police have not said how long she was in the trunk. They just said her body was not intact. And she's been in there for, like, been in there for a while. She's missing since April. She was missing since April of 2024. She was missing since April of last year. Right? She hasn't been dead for that long. I think that she ran away or was, effectively, like, groomed and trafficked. Right? To go with this guy. And somehow in between ended up dead. They were together before that. How long was she? How old was she? 12, essentially. 13 at the oldest. So, like, they could have known each other since she was, like, 10. Potentially. At the very least. Right? 13. How old is David? He's 20 now. So he would have been 17 years old at the very, very, very youngest. At the very youngest, he would have been 17. But there's a very good chance that he was 18 years old when she went missing. Why wouldn't he leave the country? I don't know. There is a chance, as the chatter was saying, that he went on tour and then somebody else murdered this girl and stuffed her body in his trunk while he was on tour to frame him. That's not outside of the realm of possibility. When he misses Tesla, not when he's on tour. Still makes him a pedo, though. That's true. That would, yeah, you are correct. He's mad unlikely. You'd be surprised with these rich people. You know what I mean? Regardless, he is still a pedophile. If, all the evidence which is pointing to him knowing her and dating her is true. Why is Jason Louis defending him? Is this old? Yeah, no, this is old. This is old. So you can't look at this and be like, oh, why is he defending him? Because this is before any new information has come out. This is before we knew that it was a child in his car. Before we knew that they had matching tattoos. And so I think it's unfair to look at this and be like, oh, Jason is defending him. I think that's unfair. Right? All we knew was that there was a body that was found in his car while he was on tour. I said the same thing, that like he could be being framed. Right? You have to see what Jason says now is kind of like what the question would be. Right? I think there's also people who are trying to insinuate that like David met this girl at like one of Jason's events. I don't know if y'all have seen that. Right? But the problem with this is that like I think somebody's edited this video. So I don't think that's the case. But that is something that you might be seeing. right? I'll just play it so you know what I'm talking about. When I said why I don't think this is real and why I think it's edited. Is this her? Not this.
I can't forget.
Hi,
Good
how
to
are
see
you?
you.
Celeste.
I've been chilling, just bobbing.
I want.
Right? You hear someone say Celeste, but I think that like somebody just like added them saying Celeste in here to act like this was the girl. You know what I mean? And so that's why I don't think that like this is real. You know? Here, I'll play it again.
Celeste.
I've been chilling, just bobbing.
You? Celeste.
I've been chilling, just bobbing.
I want.
Cause I saw this like separately, and I was just like, I can't tell who said Celeste. You know, like and like she didn't say anything. He doesn't say anything. Why would someone just say Celeste? Like it's just like. That's why I don't think it's real. But it's this is why I want to be very clear about like not adding to like the speculation of like, oh, Jason definitely knew and is defending him. You know? So just be aware of what people might be doing stuff like this. Right? I don't think it was real. I think it was an edited clip. But yeah, this is a crazy story though. Yeah. Fingers have discords now. They do when they are, coming up in this day and age apparently. I mean, you have like political like murderers having discords as well. I've been horrible for Celeste's family finding out that she, after all this time, she's been dead in the most horrific ways. Has to be so heartbreaking. Yeah. Yeah. BB No Money has one too. That's not surprising. But no matter how cringe BB No Money is, so far it doesn't appear as though he killed somebody. So, and that's a +1 for BB No Money. Update on this story. You know, Money is cringe. A little bit. You just hate him because he's Canadian? Maybe. But yeah, police officers say Trey Reed's... police officers told Trey Reed's family that he was found dead in his dorm room, according to the law firm representing the family. This is, I believe, Ben Crump's law firm. Which is apparently like a family friend of mine, which is kind of funny. So, or at least a family friend's family friend. I'm like 2 degrees removed from Ben Crump. But yeah. So the police officers told the family that he was found dead in his dorm room, but the reality is that Trey was found dead, hanging from a tree in the middle of campus next to the pickleball court. I did not see the press conference. So that does not inspire confidence that the police have this covered or that it was not a lynching. They're already hiding, covering up information. Yeah, it's so gross. It's so disgusting. Particularly an independent autopsy, right? Yes, they've the person in Jason clip is apparently a different Celeste. Did they actually say Celeste in the actual stream though? It sounded added, but like maybe I'm tripping. Hey Sierra. You okay? Bro, they've moved everything off all the towels I put off my bed, and now there's just a bunch of hair all over my bed. But yeah, it's so gross. This is so gross. Not the hair, but like this story. But yeah, I also wanted to show this as well. This is I Just Love Puzzles, who is a Twitch streamer, where she's talking about how she lost a portion of her Twitch community over the Charlie Kirk stuff. This is the full video. I don't know how long it is. It's 20 minutes. Here, I'll just play this.
And people say that it's just words, or it's just opinions, or a political view, that if you have been affected by these policies, it's not just words to you, right? It's not a debate. If someone has influence and power that believes the things that they are saying, and policies are implemented because of your recommendations, right? And people are being affected by those policies, then it's not words and it's not just an opinion. And I think that people miss that part. And I explained that why everybody doesn't see it the same. And it's okay for people to see it the way that they see it. I'm just offering another way for you to see it.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to see the full take on that though. We won't watch the entire thing, but I do want to see. Oh, yeah, here it is.
They see it. I'm just offering another way for you to see it. And it's this, that my brother, all of my brothers, I have 4 brothers. All 4 of them are pedophiles, right? One of them was far more sadistic than the other one, and he did horrible.
I was not expecting that.
Things to me growing up, and then he molested my daughter, and I sent him to jail for that, right? And when he got out of jail, that he was killed. That somebody came up to his car when he was parked outside of a bar, just a few blocks from my mama's house, and they unloaded a whole clip, and then replaced the clip and unloaded that, right? They shot him 34 times, right? And that why other people look at it as he had kids, he had 2 daughters and a son, right? He had a mama that lost her son. He had kids that lost their dad. He had brothers and sisters that lost their brother, right? But my point was that when people say, no matter what he did, no matter what he said, he had a family, and you just feel bad for his family. And I want you to just look at it from my perspective, that yes, my whole family was hurting when this happened to him because they lost their brother and their son, right, and their dad, and they were hurt behind that. But me, for all the things he did to me, and then to molest my child, I didn't give a damn that he was leaving a family behind, right? Because the way that his life affected mine, right? So depending on the experience that you have lived through, that when somebody says that there should just be no political violence and just period, and you got to feel bad because he was a father of kids and this and that, right? But when you are, somebody is separating you from your children and they don't give a damn about you or your kids, and then you got a deaf ear to that what people are saying it doesn't affect you. Now, people that don't have those same experiences, those are the people that can say, well, I just feel bad because he's leaving his kids behind. He's leaving a wife and kids behind, right? I don't know what his wife's views are, but I would imagine that I wouldn't be with somebody that felt that way as strongly as he does and for a long as a period of time as he's been spewing all of this hatred and promoting this hate, right? That I can't see them. He did this long before they were married. And so I have to believe that she feels the same way that he does, right?
Mhm.
But that while you are saying that he's leaving behind a family and that we should at least feel sorry for that, that I'm just offering you another perspective that instead of arguing and fighting and fussing and going back and forth over all of this, that have some empathy, right? That it's okay if you see it that way, but for people affected, it's impossible for them to see it that way. My whole family felt that way, but I didn't give a damn, right? Because of the way the things he did affected me. And the same way that people want you to mourn and feel sorry because it's still a loss of life, that think about me and think about the people who have been affected, directly harmed by the policies he helped create, right?
It's frustrating. It's frustrating, right? I don't let it show often, but it is genuinely frustrating that this is something that Black people get integrally. We understand this. But having to explain this very, very simple concept to people is frustrating, especially to people who are supposed to know better. This is very simple, right? This is Black people, right? And queer people and trans people and migrants, just, marginalized people as a whole, pleading to non-marginalized people to just see this from our perspective. That's it. That's literally all we're asking. See this situation with Charlie Kirk being murdered and people not, right? And people not feeling sorry for him or people cheering it on, right? And you don't understand why. Take yourself out of your own shoes for 1 second and put yourself in mine. And I want you to think why I may not feel as strongly as you feel about this act. We've heard it from a number of different people. Political people, non-political people, younger people, older people, middle-aged people, college students, men, women, non-binary people. We've heard from over half a dozen Black people on this stream for the last 3 days, and they've all said the exact same thing. Right? And that is, this is why I'm not mourning. This is why I'm not mourning. That's it. You can mourn. If you want to mourn, you can mourn. Right? But this is why I'm not mourning. This is why I'm not giving this the same energy that you're giving it. This is why I feel a different way than you feel. And all too often do white people just see that and say, actually, I am a better person than you because I am mourning this white supremacist. Actually, I am a better person than you because I cry when a Nazi dies. All right, but Bernie finally uses the G word. Took him long enough. But yeah. And speaking in the same vein, because we won't watch all of this, but like, I mean, she's correct. I do want to show this tweet of mine that is actually going kind of off. Right, this is a black person reacting to Charlie Kirk's death at Charlie Kirk's vigil at Texas State University.
Oh, buddy. Fuck that nigga. You're gonna get expelled, dude.
Free speech is still legal for now. Right? But to this I responded and I said, this is a fraction of the disrespect that Charlie himself levied against a single black man killed by police over the years. He would have wanted this. So yeah, maybe I don't know that he would have wanted this side, but like this is what he advocated for, right? Charlie Kirk. Okay, if you get mad at this, imagine somebody doing this for every time somebody that looks like you dies or is murdered at the hands of police or just in general. For dozens of times, for every incident over the course of, 10 years. And now you have these conservatives who are pearl clutching, being like, oh, you're going to get expelled, dude. Why would you do that? Why would you do that at the vigil? That's not very nice. Why would you do that? Like we don't know what they were saying about George Floyd. You know what I mean? Like, come on. Saint Moira, thank you for the Prime. Much appreciated. They literally made memes. They still make memes. Still to this day, currently, they were making memes like up until like last week. So spare me the whatever you call it. You know what I mean? The tears, right? Spare me the fake outrage. Because this is what Charlie Kirk advocated for. And you don't just become a saint in death. Just by proxy of like being a conservative or whatever. You don't. You don't. But this is something that black people understand. Black people understand. Because we are harmed by the rhetoric. And a lot of the people, even like the leftist people who are like, don't celebrate Charlie Kirk's death or whatever, they aren't. Or joyful comparison is there's a difference between an authority figure using their authority to murder a man over a misdemeanor crime and a right-wing graper killing a right-wing media figure for the memes. That's true. It's not the same. But yeah, that's how I feel. That is how I feel. I don't know if there is Forgot what I was saying. Yeah, that's how I feel. Any final thoughts? Anything else? Oh, thank you for being here, YouTube chat. There's 50 people just chilling in YouTube chat. You know what? Maybe I'll go live on YouTube for more people. Because they don't be chatting, but, like, you also don't see ads. So, like... Yeah. All right. Adios, YouTube chat.